It all began on a bright morning in Los Angeles where the energy of the city was alive and unpredictable, just like the man at the center of this story, Blueface. Known for his offbeat flow, larger-than-life persona, and headline-grabbing lifestyle, Blueface had already built a name that resonated beyond music. He was a cultural phenomenon, and controversy followed him like a shadow. But no one could have predicted that his journey would land him in a prison cell, behind cold metal bars, with a sentence that would force him to look inward in ways he never had before. Blueface, born Jonathan Porter, was no stranger to attention. From the minute Thotiana went viral, his name was etched into the fabric of pop culture. He was young, charismatic, raw, unapologetically himself. The fame was fast, and so was the lifestyle. Parties, endorsements, television appearances, and of course, an ever-growing catalog of music that drew both criticism and admiration. But with the spotlight came scrutiny, and with his rapid rise came a steep fall that nobody saw coming, except perhaps the people closest to him. The tension began building long before the official sentence. In 2021, Blueface was involved in an incident at a Las Vegas club that would come back to haunt him. Surveillance footage, eyewitness accounts, and conflicting stories created a legal puzzle that slowly unraveled over the course of the next few years. Charges were filed, then they were downgraded, then came probation. For a while, it seemed like he might escape the worst of it, walk away with a warning and move on. But Blueface was living fast, and probation meant structure, something that clashed with his chaotic lifestyle. He missed a court date, then another. When police raided his home, they discovered more than just a violation. They found paraphernalia, questionable materials, and signs that Blueface had been walking the line between freedom and incarceration for months. The judge didn't hesitate. In a matter of minutes, the sentence was handed down: 4 years in state prison. The courtroom was silent, except for the rustle of papers and the distant click of cameras. Blueface barely reacted. He gave a nod, looked at his lawyer, and simply said, "It's cool. I'll do what I have to do." As the doors closed behind him, the media erupted. Headlines blared his name. Social media feeds flooded with opinions, jokes, and tributes. Some fans were devastated. Others felt it was long overdue. But perhaps the most emotionally raw response came from Chrisean, his on-again, off-again partner, and the mother of his child. Chrisean had lived much of her young adult life in the shadow of Blueface. Their relationship was volatile, dramatic, and painfully public. Fights, breakups, reconciliations, every chapter played out in front of millions. And now, she stood alone. Chrisean took to Instagram Live the night after the sentencing. Holding her baby in one arm, she stared into the camera with eyes that carried exhaustion and hurt. "I'm not even going to lie," she said softly. "I prayed it wouldn't come to this, but maybe this is the break he needed. Maybe this is how God is going to slow him down." Her voice trembled, but she didn't cry. She was stronger. Now, toughened by experience, motherhood, and a past she no longer wanted to live in. Meanwhile, inside prison, Blueface adjusted quickly. Contrary to the chaos outside, he found a strange peace in the silence of incarceration. In a phone call to a friend that later went viral, he said, "I love it here. Ain't no fake shot tea, ain't no drama. Just be quiet. Time to think. Time to write." It was a statement that confused many, but made sense to those who truly knew him. For once, there were no cameras in his face. No schedules. No obligations. Just him, a cell, and a notebook. He began writing, pages and pages of thoughts, lyrics, and reflections. He worked out daily, kept to himself, and according to guards, became one of the most low-maintenance inmates in his block. His name still echoed through prison halls. Some respected him for his fame, others challenged him to see if the rapper could fight like the persona he portrayed. But Blueface remained steady, focused, different. Outside, Chrisean's world was evolving. She began to distance herself from the past and embrace a new identity grounded in faith. Her gospel single, Yahweh, climbed streaming charts, and her appearance at Faith City Central marked a transformation the public didn't expect. No longer was she the girl screaming on reality TV, chasing clout, or crying over Blueface on Meow live streams. She was a mother now, an artist, a woman trying to find redemption in a world that had almost chewed her up and spit her out. She spoke about the challenges of raising her son without his father. "I'm doing this for him now," she said during an interview. "For the first time, I'm thinking long-term. My son's going to grow up knowing I gave everything to give him peace, not pain." Her words resonated. Fans who once mocked her now applauded her strength. The narrative was shifting. She was no longer just Blueface's girl. She was Chrisean, on her own terms. But the connection between them wasn't completely severed. Despite everything, Blueface and Chrisean continued to communicate. Letters, calls, and messages through mutual friends. There was no talk of getting back together, not seriously. But there was still something between them. Maybe it was the shared history. Maybe it was the child. Maybe it was love, broken and bruised, but not entirely dead. Time inside changed Blueface. Not overnight, and not in every way, but enough that people noticed. He stopped entertaining online beef. He didn't respond to shade or rumors. Instead, he focused on his music, education, and introspection. He read books, mostly biographies, and spiritual texts. He kept a journal, and he started writing a memoir, though he told only a few people about it. "If they're going to tell my story, I want it to be real," he said during one phone call. His absence from the music scene created a void, but it also ignited anticipation. Fans speculated about his comeback. Producers saved beats for him. Artists reached out, promising to collaborate the moment he got out. But Blueface remained patient. "I got 4 years. I'm not rushing it," he said. "When I'm back, they're going to feel it." And while he waited, Chrisean blossomed. She booked shows, collaborated with gospel artists, and used her platform to speak about healing and forgiveness. She visited women's shelters, donated to single mothers, and launched a mentorship program for girls in her community. People started seeing her not just as a former reality star, but as a leader. A voice for those who had been broken but refused to stay down. The story of Blueface and Chrisean Rock became more than a tabloid tale. It became a case study in growth, consequence, and transformation. Their child, still a baby, represented a bridge between two worlds, one behind bars and one finding freedom through faith and music. Every step they took, whether closer or further from each other, was a step forward. Months turned into a year. Blueface continued his quiet evolution. Rumors swirled that he was mentoring younger inmates, helping them write lyrics, and encouraging them to stay out of trouble. Some didn't believe it. Others said it was exactly the kind of unexpected plot twist that defined his life. One guard reportedly said, "He's different now, still got that edge, but his energy shifted." The world watched and waited. There were no guarantees, no promises of a perfect comeback or a happy reunion. But there was something undeniably compelling about watching two people rebuild their lives, separately yet forever connected. Blueface in his cell, pen to paper. Chrisean on stage, mic in hand, both telling their stories, both seeking redemption.